Welcome, fellas.
What
How
it
we
up?
doing tonight?
What it do, Joey?
We're recording pretty late tonight. That is my
What it do,
fault.
Joey?
Full credit. Apologies here, but we're here.
Flicks Fellas After Dark.
Feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are reviewing the Apple TV original film Swan Song. This movie is directed by and written by Benjamin Cleary, starring Mahershala Ali, Naomi Harris, Aquafina, Glenn Close, Nyasha Hatendi, Adam Beach, Lee Shorten, Dax Ray. It was a pretty small cast. There wasn't too many people in this one. And before we get into our first reactions, I just want to ask everyone to take a quick second to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow along, get the notifications so every time we release an episode, you are aware and get to see it first. This movie takes place in the near future about a terminally ill man who explores a heart-wrenching, emotionally complex solution to save his wife and son and future son from grief by duplicating himself without them knowing. It is a philosophical dilemma, this movie, with a sci-fi twist. And James, why don't you take us right into it? What was your first thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this movie was interesting. This definitely falls within your realm of trying to find like a psychological movie that like bends the brain. You know what I mean?
Oh
like
yeah,
this
I'm
is
so
one
excited.
of those. Yeah, this is one of those that like you're like late at night hanging out with your friends and you've stayed up far too long and like have maybe imbibed and you're just like, hey, if this was a thing, would you do it? And then you have like an hour and a half long conversation about like, is it like the moral dilemma or like if you'd really do it or not. But overall, like amazing display of acting by the main character. Like absolutely fantastic. He killed it. Like nothing but good things to say. And I honestly think because that is what carried the movie, because it's such a complex role, you know, that I think if he didn't do well, it would have made the movie bad. But because I thought he did phenomenal, I think the movie was very, very good. It is not a happy movie. It is a very sad movie. But like, I guess that's the pitch, you know. Like it's the formula says it's going to be sad, so it's sad. But it was fun. It was cool. Definitely one of those things that kind of tugs on the heartstrings at the very end. But it was a very interesting movie, and I'll throw it over to Kev.
I thought the movie was really good. It was I love Mahershala Ali. I think he's fantastic. But yeah, it was just like a long Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Like a little extra long Black Mirror episode. Everything about it, I guess you could call it the cinematography, but like the tech looked like tech in Black Mirror. The ideas are kind of Black Mirror based ideas, like almost the dangers of technology or like those dilemmas that could come up with advancing technology. But I enjoyed it. It slowed down a little bit. Like it was paced a little weird, so it was a little slow, but to your point, James, it's just really great acting, so it's a good showcase of their acting. Joe?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Agreed. I thought this was another one of those picks where I was like, okay, I'm not going to look too much into this. It looks like good production value. Looks like it's got a good cast. I can see it's got that sci-fi twist to it. I was like, I'm going for it. Hopefully, we'll have an actual successful one this week.
Not hypnotic.
And not hypnotic. I think we got it. I think it was a good one. The production value was really good, and it did feel like a long Black Mirror episode. I think some of the tech was directly taken from Black Mirror episodes, it felt like. But it posed an interesting question, you know, the dilemma that the main character faces of, it's not really a spoiler, it's the kind of the whole plot of the movie is if he should basically clone himself without his wife's knowledge because he's dying. And is Kev good? Oh, sorry. He gave us a warning.
That yawn.
Epilepsy.
I just yawned out of nowhere.
Are we boring you, Kevin?
Yeah, fucking get it over with. Joey. Fucking get on with it. No.
The philosophical dilemma was a good story. I think the acting was great. I was actually expecting a little bit more of a plot twist in this one. I thought there was going to be more excitement, more story, kind of sci-fi is bad, but it didn't really go that way. It had more of an optimistic view of what technology could be in the future we could have potentially. But I thought it was good. Like Kev said, a little slow pacing sometimes, but overall well done. Acting definitely saved it. The writing wasn't super intense or anything exciting. That they delivered well on the little bit that they had.
Yeah. I definitely, Joey, to play off one of the points that you said, I am actually so glad that there wasn't an extra twist. You know, like, I don't really want to talk about it a
Agreed.
ton because, like, obviously it's going to be more spoiler heavy, but, like, I'm glad that they didn't shoehorn in, like, a subplot or a story at the end because I feel like it lent itself. Like, the story that was given to us is exactly what this plot should have, like, how deep the plot should have been. There shouldn't have been any more, or I'd have been like, why? You know what I mean? Like, I would have been so much more like interested because it was like it's so heavy. Like, the movie's so heavy that it's like if you cheapen it with like some mystery or something at the end, then I just feel like that's not what you're going for. You know?
And that's where it
I thought
differs
it
from
was
Black
good.
Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
I
Kev.
thought in the beginning that it was gonna be like one of those classic clone tropes where like they both want to be the actual person and they're like trying to prove to the other person that they're not the clone. Remember that episode of the SpongeBob?
I'm the
when
real
there's-
Santa Claus.
yeah, that or SpongeBob when there's the Robo Mr. Krabs and he's trying to figure out which one is in Robo Mr. Krabs.
Ravioli,
So I thought
ravioli.
they were
give
gonna
me
go
the
with that.
formuoli.
I'm glad they didn't go that route. Because to your point, I think it was just trying to tell a story, and the tech and everything was just the plot, like just the device for that, for telling that story, and I think they did it well. So
There was one interesting plot point that I thought was going to be more interesting or more intriguing, but it's not really a spoiler. But it could be if you think the same thing that I'm thinking. So I'm going to save that for the second part. Let's get our first verdicts. Kev, we'll start with you for this one. You press and play or keep scrolling?
yeah, I'm pressing play. I feel like I haven't pressed play in a while, and this one is definitely worthy of it. So
Play,
yeah,
Kev.
press
Just
play.
play.
It was,
Just play. Just
it
press.
was a good watch. It was a good, relaxing watch. It wasn't anything too crazy. You didn't have to stay like overwhelmingly involved. Like if you kind of list here and there, you'll be fine. It's a good watch.
Yeah, I agree. I think I press play. I'm actually very interested to see, and like hopefully by the time, like I would love to see in the future, like what our percentages for like click plays and keep scrollings. But for this one, I'm
That
clicking
would be
play.
cool.
I feel like I click play almost all the time.
Yeah.
But
I'll say this though about your movie, James. You usually keep scrolling on movies that are this long
it's true. It
with
is pretty
like
long.
little plot. So I was a
that would
little
be
curious
so-
about what you were
Yeah,
going
I was
say.
gonna say.
That would also be interesting to see a correlation between length of movie and press play
All right.
and keep scrolling.
Well-
Is it because our attention spans are
It's because
too
my
short?
attention span is too short. So I did feel like it kind of, like Kevin said, that it kind of dragged for a little bit. And I did feel that, but I was engaged. Like I was interested in the story even by the end. So I am gonna click play here. It was a little long. You know what I mean? It wasn't a long movie. It's just there's not a ton going on. Like it's really like kind of just like a people story after like the initial kind of mind bendy topic. So there's not a ton in the space to fill, and it was a full movie. Like it's not a short movie. It's not incredibly long. They didn't go over 2 hours, right? Like it was
It's like an hour 52 or hour
Okay.
56, I want to say.
Hour 52. Yeah. But I think a little less after you cut out
Yeah.
credits.
So,
yeah, those
you
are
know,
long credits.
it's not that bad. But I quick play, very good movie, and very very good display of acting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to press play as well. It was a very internal, dramatic movie of internal conflict, I should say, about the main characters, not so much external conflict, which I feel like is rare with sci-fi futuristic movie like this. But it was done really well and good acting. Now, before we take a word from our sponsors, just a quick message that if you want to join our fan club, you can sign up on our Patreon page, make a donation. It really helps us out. We love to see people engage and really enjoy our content enough to want to help us financially. So
Yeah.
take a look at that. You can go to our website, flixfellas.com, scroll down, and you'll see a link to our Patreon page there, or on our Instagram and our link tree as well. So we'll be right back. And we are back. Welcome back, fellas.
thanks.
Joey.
let's talk some spoilers of this movie. Although I don't really think this is a spoiler heavy movie. It's pretty face value. What you see is what you
Pretty
get.
straightforward.
And yeah, there wasn't much external story to it. It was just kind of very internal conflict. But let's start with the overarching elephant in the room question. What decision would you guys make? The main character is faced with the decision of he's dying, his wife doesn't know, he has this opportunity to clone himself to an exact molecular identical twin with the exception of one little freckle. That's what I was going to get up for. I wasn't sure what that. I thought there
No,
was going
it
to
was
be more
it was a little piece of
plot
equipment.
behind
It was a
that.
piece of equipment that they put on his head. It was
No,
basically
no,
when he
no,
was in the
freckle on
facility.
his hand.
Oh, was it the freckle on his hand? I thought it was a piece of equipment he put on his
The
head.
You
freckle-
missed that whole thing, bro?
No, I missed that.
There was a freckle on his left palm just to help him identify and
If he was
know that he
confused.
is
Got it.
the robot. Or essentially,
I
the
think it was
clone.
more for like if he starts to like panic or something like that, looking at the freckle, because he forgets that he's the clone after a week, but him looking at the freckle will like kind of bring him back, like mentally, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I get the reason for the
Yes.
device, but I was gonna say I didn't feel like they really played into it that deep. There's one point where you see him kind of playing with it, but it wasn't like
Stabbing himself
this-
in the
this-
hand. Playing with it.
Yeah, that was it.
That would be it.
But that wasn't
Playing
that wasn't like they didn't really dive into the question of does he think he's real or not, or does he think he's the clone or not.
Yeah.
Like they would just kind of see him playing with it and eventually stabbing himself, which is funny because at that moment, right before, I was like, what are they made of? Like, are they actually humans? Are they
Yeah.
like they're not robots? And Amanda was like, no, they're just humans. And I was like, I don't get it though. Like, there's not like an explanation of where their body forms come from. And as we're talking about this, he starts bleeding, and I was like, oh yeah, he's human. Like he's not a robot.
Yeah.
It's just like a true molecular clone. Like that's the whole thing too, right? Joe, your question is, would you do it? Right? That was the original question.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Kevin, do you want me to go on a rant?
Without telling your spouse.
Yeah, without telling your spouse, I don't think I think that like a less mature me would. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's a more mature decision to make.
I don't think so. I don't
Yes,
think
it
so.
is because it's a
it's not
totally
fair.
selfless decision.
It's
yes,
not
it
fair.
is.
No, it isn't.
Okay, James, let's give you 60
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah,
to
we're
rant,
about to
and then Kev, you
so
defend your
No,
feelings.
because I don't think it's fair to like your partner and your family to not know. You know, they deserve that. Like they spent your entire life. Like they deserve. I understand the selfless act and wanting to dive on the sword, but you're taking the freedom away from your family of knowing and having like real, closure for your life. Because can you imagine if it's not perfect? Like all like explain like exploratory science is. You know what I mean? If like one thing goes wrong, like you wronged your family for the rest of their life because they couldn't get closure with you in your final moments. Like think about it. Is it like yeah, maybe the net good is like they get another couple decades like to grow up with the dad and like have a full life, but like in the end game, like is that worth like taking away? Like I just don't think it's like I think that it's selfless, right? I don't think it's intently a bad act, especially because they set it up like the wife is very like emotionally unstable, and like after her twin brother died, like I understand why he made the decision. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. I just think that for me, I don't think I could do it. I think that like what I'm saying is like a less mature me is like I've been in a relationship now for like 5 years, right? Like I'm not, obviously people are in much longer relationships, but like
30 seconds left.
left. If I just don't think like if my partner did that to me, I would feel wrong. Even if like I could live the rest of my life with that person,
What if
like
you
I
never
need that
find out?
closure. That's what I'm saying. Well, it doesn't matter. Like it's like
It does matter. That's the whole.
it matters.
My turn, bitch.
I thought I had 30 seconds, motherfucker.
He's got 10 seconds left. 10
No,
seconds.
but I just think it matters. Like I would if I was Poppy in this scenario, I'd want to know. That's me. You go ahead.
Okay. Kev.
Yeah, but yeah, you might want to know, but you're not gonna know. The whole point is that they won't know, and that they get to live their full life with you. So, wouldn't you want them to be able to do that? Like, or do you just
No.
Are you so selfish that you're gonna leave your wife and children when young? She just had a baby. She's just gonna have a baby, and now she's got 2 little kids, and you're like peacing out. You're like,
That's
I'm
her
done.
life to figure out.
See ya.
You want to help her as much as you can, and I'm not saying that like, hey, like fuck off, like you're
Well,
dying.
if you want to help, hey James, I gave you.
James,
Yeah,
let Kevin
yeah,
speak. Let
dude.
Kevin speak.
He's asking me questions.
How
He's
rude.
asking me.
How rhetorical question.
A rhetorical.
Yeah, eat shit, bitch. No, but like I don't know. I think that's the hard decision to make, but it's the right decision to make. Why would you make your family go through that if they don't have to?
Is that rhetorical or can I
So,
answer?
That's rhetorical because
Okay.
you're wrong as shit, bro, and I'm right. That's the right thing to do.
So, okay, I'm going to chime in now and be the
Joey.
voice of reason.
Oh, that
here
was like
because
10 seconds
James,
for me. James got like 3.5.
You
You
were
were
done.
done.
You didn't have any more arguments, Vic. You were like,
James
you're
rambles. He
done.
You
gets
don't
the
know
point.
that. You don't know that.
I do know that.
You
I
don't
do
know that.
Kevin, we
I
know
was
you're
just-
quick. You get
Yeah,
the
Okay,
point.
yeah, whatever the fuck you got.
No, so here's the thing. The struggle I felt was like, okay, he has this clear physical part of his body that is different. Now, granted, it's a freckle. Freckles can come and go as you please. But if he were to ever see a picture of himself at the whole time and there's no freckle, like that I could see causing some sort of sci-fi malfunction. Be like, well, where did this come from? What happened? Yada yada yada. But I don't think that would actually happen because, like we said, freckles can come and go on the body
Facts.
as they please. So it could just be whatever. Now, to James's point about like you are making the choice for them and something could go wrong, he too doesn't know. Like he eventually gets his memory wiped so that he doesn't know he is the clone. So if something goes wrong with him, there's no like nobody will step in and be like, oh, it's because of this. Like they could just think that he's sick in some other way or he's just losing his mind for whatever reason. Like nobody's going to tell them
Mm-hmm.
that this happened. So it may cause a mystery for them if something goes wrong. Be like, well, what happened? What happened to the man I knew, the person I loved? Like there may be that question, but that's now a separate issue that is also like a hypothetical, a maybe. Whereas this is a guaranteed molecular, identical carbon copy of him who has all the same memories to the T of like how well he remembers them. And yeah, I mean, for all we know, like if you don't know, I think ignorance is bliss in this situation. And I agree with Kev. I think you gotta die quietly and let someone take your spot.
I definitely think so. I understand. So I guess it's like, what school of thought do you like adopt, right?
The
like,
right
true
one.
Like true utilitarianism, yeah, you get the clone. You know what I mean? Like the net positive is going to be greater than that of telling your family you're going to die and then dying and having them, you know what I mean, not have a father the rest of their lives. But what I'm saying is like, I'm not speaking from the point of, like, what was the main guy's character? I keep forgetting.
Cameron.
If I'm speaking from the point of Cameron, right, I would totally. I actually think I like more identify and understand the decision that he made. I'm saying from the point of Poppy, like I would want to know, like
Well,
if
duh. That's not
What do you
the
mean, well,
question,
duh?
though. That's
That's
not the
the whole-
question, no.
no,
That's
but
not the question.
you're saying, would you do it? You're saying, would you do it? Right?
That's
And-
James. Hold on. You're answering the question like this. You're like,
yes.
if like the whole greater good, right? Like you have to kill 100 people to save 1,000,000 people. You're answering that question as if you're one of the 100 people that's gonna die.
No, I'm
That's
not
not-
saying that, Kevin. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I understand that like true, like the net good is probably more for you doing the, you know what I mean, doing the thing. I'm just saying that like I don't think that it's fair to Pop. Like I think he's making a decision for her that she has no weight in. Like, and again, she may never find out. But I'm saying the fact that she, like, because even though she may never find out, she still deserves to know, because she chose to spend her entire life with this guy. And, like, he's keeping, like what he's doing
letting
is
her spend
unfair.
her entire life with.
No, but he is spending his entire life with her. You know what I mean? And he's not able to. I just think it's like, I think if I'm Poppy in the scenario, right? If I'm looking at it from her side, right? Because like I think that like really the wrong that is done in the scenario is you take away her choice, and obviously the son's choice, but the son's a kid. Like, I think that they did it in literally the best way possible. Like, he had like his own little epilogue with the family, but like, I just feel like, I feel like if my spouse goes through this scenario, I don't want to not know. You know what I mean? And like, honestly, if you want this as an option, bring it up, and then you can have a conversation about it. You know what I
No,
mean?
but
Like,
the point is you can't bring it up. You're not
no,
allowed
but
to
I
bring it up.
understand that. But what I'm saying is like that's not fair. Like that's not a fair scenario. Like that's
But
not.
Poppy technically did choose in the movie.
No, she didn't. Not
Because
knowing.
yes,
did.
she does.
Yes, she did.
Not knowing.
She says that if she could do that to her mom, she would do it in a heartbeat. She
Yes,
says
I
that.
understand
Because
that.
they were
Because
talking
they did
about
talk-
this
I-
specific
I know
technology.
they were. I know that they were. But what I'm saying is
Do you?
the
Because it
fact
sounds
that
like
she,
you don't.
No, because it wasn't the same. It's not. I mean,
Got him.
you're projecting really. You know what I mean? Like you're using one scenario. Like you're using one scenario and being like, because she said yes to this, she's going to say yes to this, which is a different scenario. Like saying yes to like a grandfather or like you know what I mean? Like that's a way different question than your spouse. You know?
I think though you got to you're putting yourself in her
Yes.
shoes in the movie.
But you have to put yourself,
put
in his shoes.
yourself in your shoes in the real world today. If Alex had done this, and like let's say she had done this 5 years ago, the day after you guys met, she got a clone or whatever it is last year, and you had no idea right now. There was no difference. Like you would be mad right now, or you would be happy that you have.
I'd be mad if I didn't know. If I wasn't told, if I wasn't told, I'd be mad. You know what I mean? Like, because
You'd be mad that you still have your dead wife.
I want to know but I don't. I don't have my dead wife.
Yes, you do. It is in this scenario. It is literally that.
I don't think that it is. This is again. I think we're boiling.
Well, that's
down.
the question. That's a new question now. Is
it really the same? You know what I mean? Like effectively, probably.
What's that? It's actually a paradox, isn't it? It was in WandaVision. It's what he uses to break his own self. The boat about the boat.
Yeah.
At what point, if you keep replacing parts on the boat with newer parts, when is it not the boat?
When is it not the boat? Yeah.
It's a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
But James is still fucking wrong as
and
shit.
But it's also funny because like you can see that it is the same person because he is having to convince himself with his own logic of like why he did this in the first place, to why he should continue doing it. Because I think if it wasn't truly himself, he wouldn't have been able to convince himself that it was the right decision.
I mean, you're pretty close though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that like just because you're 99.9999999% the same person doesn't mean you're the same person. You know, like I don't think even if you clone yourself, like the minute you clone yourself and you have diverging experiences, you're not the same person anymore.
But they don't.
They do.
He's experienced everything that you have experienced.
He hasn't.
Yes, he
Especially
has.
no, in the movie he hasn't, right? Because there is the scenario, like, and this is obviously one scenario, but this is the moment when he shares the beer with his son, right? That is not a memory that's uploaded to the clone, right? That is not something.
You're talking about one experience.
No, but I'm saying that diverges the person, right? Because the person is a stream of consciousness that develops over a lifetime of experiences, right? So if we're using that frame of reference, that is not the same person because they didn't have the same experiences.
Yes, but agreed. But that moment will not impact.
I'm just saying it's not the same guy.
The kid's life, because
I think this is such a weak, loose take from James.
You're just here to tell me I'm wrong. You're literally like looking for Kevin's like, I think I've convinced Kevin that you're like, I kind of see what James is coming from, but also fuck James.
No, I think that if we're looking at, like, we have to look at it, I feel it's hard to verbalize.
The point is that moment that you're trying to say doesn't impact anything, because that's like a moment of like, oh, like that was the last time I saw my dad, but it's not going to be the last time he sees his dad. So it's not going to be this.
I'm using it as an
I
example.
feel like you're adding so many caveats to.
I'm not.
You are, because you're like, if I'm looking at it from this person's point of view or this, like, I don't know. I just think
you can also argue that every time we make a decision, we are somewhat new.
Agreed.
I can make a decision to.
You're a different person
show
every
right
day.
now and end our empire. But that's the point, though. Like, we don't know who we sign up with necessarily that we're going to be every day.
Yeah, but it's like a promise.
Your partner could just ultimately change who they are, and like he's not going to drastically change who he is in that moment.
That's the thing, right?
Or in any big
like, that's
moment.
The whole,
like, it might
like,
happen
slowly
over time.
Right? If you get married, right? Because they got married, right? It's like the promise of like your lives together. It doesn't matter like what's gonna happen, whatever, and you're gonna become different people and evolve because like you when you're like whatever 20 whatever or 30 whatever when you get married and 55 or however old you get to when you're like in like a more mature state of your life, you're a completely different person. You've had literally another lifetime of experiences to develop into a different person, right? Your origin is the same, like you came from the same place, but you're not the same person that you were.
What is the difference between this and having like life-saving surgery, like where you get like things added to you or you get things changed about you that saves your life? What the hell is the fucking difference?
There's a different sentient being.
No, it's not. It's everything. No, it's a different like body, but like
but it's a sentient being. It's not you. Like your consciousness does not live in that thing. It's a different consciousness that lives in the body. It's been filled with your memories and your experiences from the past, but from this point on, from its conception, it now experiences its own life, and you experience your own life.
So if you're married to someone who has like a traumatic brain injury and that changes them completely who they are on a personality level, do you just divorce them because they're a different person and now they've then what's the difference?
Well, no, what I'm saying is like, I mean, that's a completely different scenario. That's like literally a completely different scenario.
I was going to say, we're kind of doing some red herrings right now.
That does make sense. That does make sense because now it's a different person.
It makes sense, but the argument is that your spouse would know you had that traumatic experience. The difference in this is that Poppy doesn't know.
Yeah.
And that's where the dilemma is. And she can't know because if she does know, then it's always going to be in the back of her mind of like, this isn't my husband. This isn't the person I met. However, it is in the future an exact scientific carbon copy of him. Therefore, I think we could argue if this was common science, it is a real person. It's the same way they're trying to grow limbs and different things on rats to implant onto people. Like, it's a different ear, but it's still an ear. Like,
I mean, I got what's it called? Like you get surgery, you can get.
Dude, I just thought about that fucking South Park.
You get like you can get surgeries and shit like that, and you get like cadavers and stuff like that. You know, like it's like you get different pieces and whatever, but it's like it's a different person that comes out, but is it like drastically different? No, I don't know. I think we're like way deep into a philosophical argument that like is something you can literally talk about for like hours, like
I think this was the whole thing to talk about this movie though.
I think that was the best way to talk about this movie because it's like actually a good movie and there's not like many twists and turns. It's more that ethical dilemma.
Well, and there isn't a right answer. Like everybody will face this dilemma.
Whatever answer James gives
is wrong. Except when I agree. If I go, man, Kevin's right. I agree with Kevin.
If you agree with me, we're cool. But if you disagree, you're a bitch.
That's called politics.
What did you guys think though when he was like, I need to meet somebody in the real world, and he says, how many others are there out there? Were you guys hoping she would say a small number, like, oh, there's only 3 people, or were you expecting to be like, there's 2 million people out there right now that you have
when
no
she
idea.
Said 3, I was like, yikes, dude, I think you better keep fucking walking. But
but you don't want the first Tesla. You don't want the first, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be the test guy.
The first iPhone.
But I was expecting her to say like some crazy number and just do some world building of like, this is just the way things are anymore. But I guess it's more interesting that there was only 3. I think it adds more to the ethical dilemma or the personal dilemma that he was going through.
Agreed.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the philosophical discussions. Big fan.
I thought it was a good one.
So, I mean, we have watched an Apple TV movie
Cherry.
before.
We watched Cherry.
That was the only one.
Cherry was it? Yeah, I was thinking that was HBO. No, that was.
I don't think
so
we've
far they're
watched
shot
an
for
HBO
shot.
Max movie.
I don't think so either.
American Pickle.
Oh, that technically counts. It does count.
The best one.
How could you forget?
It's the best movies. Oh my gosh.
It's so good. I feel like they like HBO Max
Yeah.
has a trouble though, where like they get so many like actual box office movies that I'm like, I want to watch this on HBO Max, but like it was
Yeah.
like it's not a streaming exclusive, you know, not
And
in the
now-
niche.
And now
Mhm.
they have one, just
Mhm.
like a ton of shows, just HBO, and then two, they've got that deal with Warner Brothers. So like, why make an original movie when you get like streaming rights to a lot
Dune.
of Warner Brothers movies? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dune.
Well, that was just for this year, though.
Was it?
I think, right?
I don't know.
I think it was just for 2022.
It'll be interesting to see if they keep it going because
Continue.
because
Yeah.
it seemed pretty successful, especially for
Yeah.
movies that people
Mhm.
probably wouldn't go to see in theaters anyway, or like what a lot of people wouldn't go see, like Mortal Kombat. I wouldn't have gone and seen that
No, I
movie
wouldn't
unless
have
it was
either.
on HBO Max, So,
Yeah.
Or the Snyder cut.
oh
Like, I
god,
didn't
yeah,
watch-
I wouldn't have.
Did
been
you
able to
watch
see-
that?
No,
I did.
I got to
Watched the
brace
whole thing.
myself for 4 hours. I hated the first Justice League, and I know Snyder Cut is good, but like it's
not
hard
better.
for me to rationalize sitting down for 4 hours and watching.
Yeah. Yep. Giving more content to a bad movie does not make the movie good. That's what I will say.
I don't know. I've heard the the opposite.
I watched
I've heard it's
I
really
watched the
good.
whole thing. It was okay. Like it was like pretty. It wasn't as bad as Justice League because it made sense, but I was still like, eh. You know, people fucking love the Snyder Cut though, so I may get some hate for that. But hey, be like that.
Someone might. It'll be me on my burner account.
Kev actually just has a bunch
Yeah.
of burner accounts.
All of our like 48 subscribers are all my burner accounts, and I'm only out here. That one guy who called James a nerd, that was me.
So good, so good. What
Classic.
an asshole.
Yeah, fuck that.
I
guy.
can't believe I got caught out for that. I'm gonna rant about this for 1 second. Somebody makes this huge post online. I will not say on what forum. Somebody makes this huge post, and then I come back and make an equally long post talking to them about the thing that they talked about, and then someone else responds and goes, nerd. And I'm like, how dare you?
Was that some? I don't think that was someone else. I think that was the person who made.
No, it was somebody
someone
else. It was
Oh,
some
No,
random
it was someone
motherfucker.
else. It was even
That-
Oh
better.
my
that's
god!
so
I was like, "How dare you, sir?"
That is so funny, dude. He's probably like
So good.
12 years old too.
I'm
Just
so
like-
mad about it. I'm so...
Okay, let's bring this back now to the Swan Song. Which,
I didn't get
what
it.
does Swan Song?
I didn't get it either.
There's got to be
Doesn't
some
make
Because
sense.
I'm
symbolism
pretty
there.
sure it is a thing.
Why Swan? I don't want to
I'm gonna
look it
look
up
this up
because I'm
real
gonna
quick
find
if you guys
Metascore.
want
I've almost done that 3 times where I'm like, I wonder what Swan Song means, and then I try to. I'm like in the middle of googling it, and then I don't
So-
look it up.
I will be honest. I accidentally Googled it. I didn't see the Metascore. I saw the Rotten Tomato score. So we have to do Metascore today because that's the only one I don't know. Sorry.
Well, if we know it, what's the Rotten
Okay,
Tomato score?
Kev, you just ruined
I know.
everything.
I'm
but
sorry. I think the Rotten Tomato.
okay.
It was like. Should I say it?
No, I want to guess now. I haven't
Oh,
looked it up
okay.
yet.
Oh, then why don't you
Um,
guess? I'll look it up.
Because it's my show. My,
Because it's
Yeah,
my
but
show,
we need to
Kevin.
go through the game.
yeah, no, I want to, don't look
Hey,
up the other one.
Kevin,
I'm gonna look it up
stop
now.
researching. Just let Joey do his thing. God,
Fine.
just shut up, look pretty, and
Okay.
smile
I know-
at the camera.
I know the ballpark on the Rotten Tomatoes score.
He knows that there's a
Okay,
6.
so
Yeah,
and
I know
9.
that there's
Why
one
don't-
number in it.
do you want
There's
to
at
do?
least one number in it.
We'll do the Rotten Tomatoes then.
Tomato meter. I'm gonna say 79.
Ooh. I was thinking like, I want to say like 90, but I was gonna go like,
Whoa,
I'll go
that's
89.
really high.
I think it's a
That's
high.
really
So
high.
here, I'll guess because the tomato score I think was like a 76. It was a 70 something. But let me check.
Ooh,
I didn't see the
wow.
audience score. I'm gonna guess the audience
Ooh.
score was like a 71.
I'm gonna say audience score was
84.
like
Was it an 84?
88. Like it's high.
I think
Oh,
it's gonna
okay,
be an
hold on,
84
let me
for
look it
the
up.
audience.
I think it's an 88. High. 79, 88 is what I say. I say.
Surprised. I mean, I know it didn't get like
It was a set on the tomato meter.
great reviews, but
It was an 80 on the tomato meter.
Ooh,
79.
And then
was
the
closer.
oh,
Oh, it's Tomato Meter.
that's disable. The audience score was a 77.
What?
Wow.
What?
People liked it.
It was lower?
People liked it though. 77
Yeah,
is
but
not
that's
bad.
lower than the tomatometer. Yeah, but that's
Okay,
lower than the tomatometer.
Let's move on to the OG and the Metascore.
I just saw it.
Metascore?
You just
Yeah.
saw it?
Because you had me pulling up the Rotten Tomatoes, sorry.
62. 62.
66.
Well, Kev saw it already, so this isn't fun.
So I automatically win, but how close were we?
66.
What was it?
It was 66.
Ooh, I was so close, bro.
Which-
I'm
It's not bad.
killing it
Is-
right now.
That's pretty high for
Yeah, it's not bad.
Metascore.
Yeah.
That's why I saw that, so I thought the Tomato Meter was
There's like
actually
American
gonna be,
pickle
higher.
numbers.
No, it's way
Way
better than
better.
American Pickle
Yeah.
numbers. Yeah. Okay, let's double down. Or do you guys have any last remarks you want to make about this philosophical debate?
I
of
have one last
nonsense?
remark, and I would like to say that Kevin is wrong.
No.
I want that to be
No,
known.
dude, you're outnumbered
And
on
I
this
think-
one, you bitch ass motherfucker.
I was gonna say I think I agree more with Kevin's stance.
Joey, as no, Joey,
He
as
goes,
a
no,
host
no, no.
and
He
as a
goes, no, no,
judge-
no,
no,
please.
Joey, as
Joe,
a host
let
and
me
as a judge,
mansplain
I
something
think
to
you
now.
did fantastic. Joey was a
thank you, James.
fantastic
Thank you.
judge. So good.
Shut
right?
up,
And
dude. Shut up.
I can't believe. I get right. I can't believe this guy. I can't believe Kevin. I don't know why he would
See,
say that.
you both made some sound.
Some
debates.
sounds.
Some sounds. You made some sounds come out of your mouth, and that didn't piss me off.
Shut up, Jim.
But you made some sound judgments and calls and opinions, but I think you both veered into the too extreme of what if. And I think you have to take this movie for what it is, and the sense that there was no kind of even plot twist or opening at the end of like interpretation that it could go wrong, that you have to kind of assume that it all works out for the best. So
Agreed.
I think he made the right call. And I'm going to start us off with a double down. I'm going to press play again. I think this is a good movie. It's a good date night movie. It's sad, it's emotional, but it's provokes conversation.
I'm hitting play too. I agree with all the above.
I also think that. I agree as well. Even though Kevin's opinion is usually wrong, I agree.
Okay.
James.
You heard it here first, guys. The Flicks Fellas give it 3 click plays. We double down, all click play again. And that is this episode. It was a pretty quick one. You know, it was Flicks Fellas After Dark, and we got it done pretty quickly. Please consider joining our fan club. It's a small donation, gets you a lot of content. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on notifications, get content as soon as it comes out. Follow us on Instagram. Interact with us with whatever. We comment on everything. We respond. We interact with our fans. We love you guys. That's all for today. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Fellas.
Goodbye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.